Hi guys, it's John North here. I thought I'd just follow up video from when Everett and Andy did a bit of a preview before. Thanks very much for having a go, Everett. That's you did pretty good considering I haven't given you a lot of training. But I just wanted to give you a quick idea of what you need to focus on, particularly for the next 2 weeks, because it's quite important that we just make sure that we know what we're doing at the event. So I'm just going to run through a couple of things. So at the moment, the main focus is campaigns, and that's basically where the book gets put in and where they actually monitor the actual progress of the book. So what will happen in the event scenarios, you'll actually have a dashboard that will show all the books, and they should all be pre-populated, or at least most of it will be, and we'll have to fix it up as we go in terms of when they advise us things like the Amazon codes. But the idea is that everybody will have their own individual campaign, but this will be set up in advance, ready for you guys to monitor. So if we looked at a one that we've already got, and I'm going to go back over adding them. I think the guys pretty much went through the ad process before. The only thing is I'll just have a couple of little quick things. So if we have a look at, say, one that's running at the moment. So what I've been doing is I've been watching the ones in the group, and I add them to run the campaign as a test. So right now we're stretching the server because we're actually running 100 campaigns at once here, just to make sure everything's going to work for the day. So this one's an interesting book because they've got a bunch of hot new releases there. So you can see down here you've got, like, wow, look, bestseller. In US, nothing much going on in Canada, and no categories for the UK. But you've got the screenshots going on down here. So what can happen here is we can go and have a little look. And they'll give you all the screenshots every hour. So every hour it takes a screenshot, and it takes a screenshot of the category and the main screen. So if I hover over one of these, nothing was going on much at 4:03 a.m. But if we come down a bit further, here we go. So if we zoom in here, we can see that they got 3 number ones. So we know that's going on. So that's basically what helps Mike a lot, to be able to capture these screenshots and not have to do them manually. You can also download them all in one go. But one of the things we got added just recently, which is I'm really happy to have, is this concept of the results board. So it actually says 13 by number one hot new releases in 2 countries, no bestseller categories at the moment. So it's really just hot new releases that's hit, although there are some bestseller ones. This is still testing at the moment, so I'm not sure whether it's getting updated properly. But if we want to have a look at what was going on there, I can drop down. And this is really just giving you an idea of how you can find out what's going on around things. So this one here, hot new release, California. There we go, top seller. There you go, that one's top seller. Canada's top seller. So you can actually see what's going on with that particular book all the way, as long as it's in your actual stream. So let's go back for a second. We come and just edit this campaign, which you can do anytime. And let's just pretend we key this in from scratch. The searches here are basically only on the category name. So if you've got, if you go and search a category that's, or a word that, like, I think Everett tried, like healthcare or something like that, that might not be available because that's not a category name. We're going to enhance this to make sure we can actually get book titles as well, which will help. But right now, if I hit health, you will get all the health ones, right? So healthcare means it's looking for both those things. So that will then automatically sort by the highest BSR and take you through the list, and you can select them. So when you select those books, once you've found your categories, and you can choose different countries too, so you can use UK, California, Canada. And once you've done that, it will automatically, as Everett showed you, is automatically generate those emails, which I haven't selected any categories to do that right now. So we'll generate those emails, which you can copy and paste. This screen here is pretty important. You don't necessarily have to have a name in there. In fact, I want to take it away because that's just going to show on the screen anyway. You don't really need that, and I'll show you in a minute. Enable it, always remember to enable it. And the launch date here coincides with the server date. So if this is the 1st of December, that's going to be the server date that it's going to start working on. 48 hours will actually extend the campaign. The only time you use this is if you were actually a coach and you wanted to add a client in there and ultimately get them to do the alerts as well. So when you look at your campaign list, you can see we put the book name in here anyway, so you don't really, this is kind of just a reference more than anything. Bit of confusion with this archive thing. You can archive any campaign you like, and what it does is just kind of hides it. We keep the data, obviously, we don't want to lose it. But the thing is, you can then show your archive and see which ones you've deleted and get them back. It's not necessary to archive them after you finish with them. In fact, I probably wouldn't, because then you don't really have access to the information. So it just becomes continuous. Like you can see, I've got a lot going on here on the ones we've done. So that's basically campaigns, just so you've got an idea of how to go about it. But my suggestion would be come in here, add a new campaign in if you've got a book running or something like that, and just step yourself through the process. So the whole concept of it is that once that campaign has been set up, it will start monitoring what happens. And if you see that one really hasn't got it, I just want to think of one. Actually, I'm working with a client at the moment. Where is she? This one here. See where we've got pending here? That basically means that we've selected the categories, but they haven't been accepted by Amazon. So it's a great way to find out where you're at with that, because it's quite tough to find out. And so I've given her a bunch of categories to go and get selected. She's actually got bestseller on one of them already. And it's not running any campaigns because it's not started yet, see? So it's still sitting there waiting to start. So that's just a way of keeping track of what's going on. So this screen will be what we'll basically work from when we're working with all these different authors at the event. So let's just move on to a little bit of back-end stuff just so you understand what will happen. And we're hoping to sort of cut this down a bit for you guys, but what will happen here is if you look in campaigns here, we've got access to all the campaigns in the system, so we can see what's running. And as you can see, we're actually running 100 at the moment to see how things go. But there's a group campaign section, and in that group campaign section we'll have the event, and inside there, once we've loaded them up, we'll have all the books for that event. So you'll just be able to see the event, click on one of the books, and then edit the campaign, see what's going on. So that's why it's important to know what's going on with this campaign. Otherwise we're not going to be able to help the customer out in the process. All right, so I'll have a demo of this once I get this up and operational. This is not ready yet, so that process is not ready, but we'll have to make sure we select the categories, and we're going to have to do the restriction of, they can only have, say, 2 categories or whatever, and we can't double up the categories, which has all been done now. And the last thing you might want to do is go to your profile and update your profile. And so what that will do, I put a really large photo in there just to really stuff things up, but if you look in there you'll be able to see it, and if you click on the link you'll be able to see the result of what your profile is going to look like. And that's accessible at the moment under the coaches directory. So you can see all the coaches slowly populating in there. I'm getting people put data in. At the moment, I'm just going to show the coaches that are actually going to the event. And obviously, if you haven't got your photo uploaded, I suggest you do. Otherwise, you're going to be a blob. So eventually, that will actually show. And if we choose, I didn't realize it was working. If say choose United States, it will actually show a little bit more of them. So you'll get everybody else. There's a bit of limitation on the bottom of that thing. So basically, if you click on someone, you'll be able to see. Eventually, what they'll be able to do is if someone wants to create contact with you, they simply fill out the form and you'll get an email saying, Joe Bloggs is interested. Now, if you run into trouble and you've got a question, just click on the Got a Question button, and this can actually log a ticket in our system, and we can actually reply back to you. So if you find any issues, anything you're not sure of, or whatever, or bugs, whatever, just report them. Better you tell us so we know as we're going along. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble down the track, and you say, I forgot to tell you that. And also have a little look under here on a knowledge base, and we'll start building this up. It does have a couple of things, like it's got something on campaigns, and you can say, what time does the campaign process use, or how does the campaign process work, and you get a bit of information about that. Just so you know, the watch categories and the category research, particularly category research, that was really early days before we really had campaigns. So I'm not even sure I'll leave that there. So category research is great if you just want to find some categories and do some stuff. But normally what you'd normally do is every time I get a book to start with, I go straight into campaigns. I create a campaign for them. I'll even maybe stick a future date on, a month away or something like that, just so I can have a date in there. But at the end of the day, I can start doing my research. I can start working on categories and getting things set up. So you don't really category research is fairly useless now. It's not something we just really had as a test. Achievements aren't running yet. That's something that'll be tracked down the track. Obviously, My Books is not a bad little feature to have because you can actually add all your books in there. And if you click on your book, it's been a while since they got synced, interesting enough. It'll tell you what's going on with your book as well. And if you've got any reviews, which mine has got reviews but didn't show up. Oh, there you go. They showed up just then. This review is just a panel coming from Amazon, so it's a live panel. So that's about it at the moment. I'm going to probably do a more complicated call with you guys later next week once we've done some more updates. But just so you've got a bit of an idea of how the whole thing runs. But you really just focus on learning campaigns, you know, see what you can do to it. If you break it, great, let us know. But more preferably, just know how to navigate around and get a good idea of how it works. All right, I'll catch you guys in about a week's time, and I'll talk to you then. Talk to you later. Bye.